It is said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I just don't see what Republicans find beautiful about this ugly bill. Is it the 13.7 million Americans that will lose their health care, children that will go hungrier, the energy bills that will go higher thanks to repealing critical tax credits? Clearly, Republicans can't be too proud of it. Otherwise, we would not have started this whole process at 1 a.m. in hopes of suppressing debate on its many, many flaws. Given the many problems with this legislation and the fact that it is being changed in the dead of night, I urge you to have an open rule so that all submitted amendments can be properly debated on the House floor. But short of that, I would ask you to make my two amendments, numbers 89 and 270, in order. 193,000 people in my district rely on Medicaid. That's 25% of all residents, including 57,000 children and nearly 20,000 seniors. Every single one of them will be impacted by this heinous package. These are not just numbers on a page. They are deliberate choices with real-world consequences, including real people's lives. And for what? Why are Republicans so hell-bent on cutting Medicaid and forcing people off of their health insurance? So rich people like Elon Musk can get a massive tax handout that they don't need? Amendment 89 supports continued access to behavioral health care through Medicaid. This amendment requires states to stop implementation of the red tape requirements included in the bill if access to substance use disorder treatment services amongst low-income adults decreases. You heard my colleague, Representative Dean, next to me here, speaking in favor of this amendment, and rightfully so. She knows the benefit that this could bring. This would be determined by the number of available SUD providers in the state that participate in Medicaid, the geographical distance for beneficiaries to access a SUD provider that participates in Medicaid, and the rates of SUD treatment amongst low-income residents of the state. Republicans want us to believe that these new paperwork and red tape requirements won't impact treatment for addiction and behavioral health. But Medicaid is the single largest payer for behavioral health services. These red tape requirements will rip coverage away from millions of individuals struggling with addiction and behavioral health needs. If these Medicaid cuts are put in place, states will be forced to take on more financial burden and may shift resources away from critical, life-saving services, including prevention, treatment, and recovery. Additionally, most Medicaid enrollees struggle with substance use disorder and find their way to treatment after getting on Medicaid, not before. If a diagnosis is required before providing someone with access to Medicaid, then how do the undiagnosed ever get care? Under the Republican plan, they won't get access to substance use disorder treatment. Care will be delayed or never happen, and lives will be lost. This is a common sense amendment to ensure that Medicaid cuts won't prevent our loved ones living with substance use disorder from accessing the treatment they need. My second amendment, Amendment 270, would only allow the repeal of EPA's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund and rescission of its unobligated funds to take effect after GAO certifies that it will not increase costs on consumers. This program was designed to help Americans who are struggling with their energy bills by leveraging billions of private sector dollars to support projects that will lower costs and create good-paying jobs. To do this, EPA tapped into nonprofit coalitions of experienced community-based lenders. The potential benefits are massive. Recent analysis from the University of New Hampshire estimated that these investments will result in $52 billion worth of energy cost savings for consumers over the next 20 years. Despite these major benefits to everyday Americans, this bill would continue Republicans' ideological crusade against the program to help offset the cost of tax cuts for billionaires. Let's be clear, there has been absolutely no evidence of fraud or criminality by grant recipients. In court this week, attorneys for the administration admitted that we're not accusing anybody of fraud and there aren't any particular instance of waste and abuse. This bill doubles down on the Republicans' longstanding policy objective of undermining the program, having sought its repeal on numerous occasions. At the moment, only $19 million of the original $27 billion remains unobligated, which is intended to be used to administer and conduct oversight of the grants. If Republicans were genuinely concerned about the program's risks for fraud, waste, and abuse, they would not be rescinding these oversight dollars. Americans are struggling with the cost of living. Energy bills, despite President Trump's promises, are going up. It's outrageous that Republicans would target funding and reduce energy bills at this time. So let's make certain we go forward, support these amendments in order, and defeat this ugly bill. And with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.